Okay, let's dive right into this. We're talking about an ancient mystery spanning continents. It's a story that seriously reads like a Hollywood script, yet it's quietly dictating international relations today. Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're unpacking a massive 2,000-year-old puzzle. We're tracking a foreign princess who sailed across the sea, literally altered the bloodlines of an entire nation, and left behind this wild trail of clues that historians and geneticists are still fighting to decode right now. So check out this number, 6 million. What's really wild here is that nearly 6 million South Koreans, that is almost 10% of the entire population, trace their ancestry back to a single foreign princess. I mean, just let that scale sink in for a second. In a country that's often perceived as ethnically homogeneous, 1 in 10 people claim direct lineage to a queen who wasn't even born on the Korean peninsula. Absolutely crazy. So you're probably wondering, how on earth did an ancient Indian princess become a Korean queen? Well, we're going to act as historical detectives today. Our mission is to investigate the DNA, decode the ancient texts, and really explore this incredibly powerful legend of the Gimhae Kim and Ho clans. We want to understand not just what went down back in the 1st century, but why this exact story continues to captivate millions of us today. Let's kick things off with Part 1, the 6 million descendants. Moving right along to Part 2, the legend of Ayodhya. To figure this out, our main go-to source is a 13th century text called the Samguk Yusa, which actually points all the way back to the year 48 AD. Imagine the cinematic scene here. According to the text, a 16-year-old princess sails for 2 whole months and arrives on the shores of the Gaya kingdom in this vessel decked out with a red sail and a red flag. And she definitely doesn't arrive empty-handed. We're talking a massive entourage, treasures of gold, silver, silk brocades, and get this, a magical peach that only fruits once every 3,000 years. She steps off the boat and tells the local ruler, King Suro, that she comes from a distant land called Ayodhya. Her reason for showing up? It is literally straight out of a fairy tale. The ancient text records that she told King Suro her journey was directly commanded by the heavens. Basically, the heavenly lord appeared in her parents' dreams, telling them to send their daughter to King Suro because he hadn't found a queen yet. And before marrying him, she even took off her silk trousers as an offering to the local mountain spirit. Together, they founded the correct dynasty and, as the legend goes, had 12 children. Now, if you're looking for physical evidence of this epic journey, take a look at the Pasa Stone Pagoda. This unusual, roughly hewn stone structure was traditionally said to have been brought on her ship to calm the angry ocean gods during that long 2-month voyage. And you know what makes it super fascinating to archaeologists today? This specific type of stone isn't found anywhere in Korea. So that definitely adds some tangible, real-world weight to the legend of her distant sea voyage. Okay, let's get into Part 3, deciphering the DNA evidence. Let's do a hard cut from romantic myth to modern forensic science. What does the DNA actually say? Is there biological proof of this foreign princess? Well, back in 2004, medical researchers decoded the DNA of ancient remains found in a Gimhae royal tomb, remains believed to belong to descendants of King Suro and the Queen. And what they found was a total game changer. Roughly 25% of modern-day Koreans have DNA traceable to South and Southeast Asian ethnic groups. That's huge, because it points away from the traditional Mongolian origins we usually hear about. So the really crucial piece of the puzzle here is this specific genetic marker, haplogroup M7. Because this is passed strictly through maternal lineages, it's pretty much the perfect tool for our quest to find a founding mother. Now, while the research team noted this DNA is super common in South and Southeast Asia, which, absolutely could point to an Indian princess, other researchers quickly threw a wrench in the works. They pointed out that this exact same haplogroup is also heavily linked to the native Jomon people, who lived in East Asia long before populations from northern China moved in. So, bottom line, the DNA for sure proves a southern maternal link, but it completely leaves the exact starting line up for debate. Which brings us to Part 4, language and cultural clues. Since the DNA is a bit, ambiguous about the exact geography, let's pivot over to cultural anthropology. As neutral investigators trying to track down the real Ayodhya, we've got to look at the incredibly diverse theories historians have come up with. A lot of folks firmly believe it's Ayodhya in northern India, mostly because it sounds so similar. But then others argue for the I Kingdom in southern India, which actually makes a ton of sense when you look at the logical maritime trade routes of the time. Some even suggest Ayodhya, Thailand, although, full disclosure, the timeline doesn't perfectly line up there. And a few experts even point to the ancient texts using the word Seo-yok, or Western region, which suggests she might have actually come from Central Asia, like Tibet or an ancient Uyghur nation. Now, supporters of the Northern Indian theory point out a seriously striking visual connection. Take a look at this. The twin fish symbol found on the gates of King Suzro's royal tomb in Korea is basically a perfect match for the ancient state symbol of Ayodhya. And get this, it's actually still the state symbol of Uttar Pradesh today. It's a pretty undeniable visual thread tying the Korean Karak dynasty straight to northern India. But hold up, look at this amazing comparative evidence backing up the southern theory. The Tamil Nadu connection showcases these unbelievable parallels in everyday life. In both Tamil and Korean, the words for mother and father are literally Uma and Abba. Both cultures share a super deep love for eating rice with fermented pickles, kimchi in Korea and orogai in Tamil culture. They both have this highly unique tradition of women doing deep-sea pearl diving, and they even share nearly identical traditional circle dances. It's called kumi in India and gangang sula in Korea. The cultural cross-pollination here is just undeniable. All right, let's wrap this up with part 5, modern diplomacy and memorials. So you might be wondering, why are we analyzing the DNA and dance moves of a 2,000-year-old myth today? Well, because this legend has completely stepped out of the history books and right onto the modern geopolitical stage. Check out this official Indian government record from the Lok Sabha back in the year 2000. It documents a proposal from IndianHistory in South Korea to officially set up a sister city relationship with Ayodhya. You guys, this ancient legend literally created a modern diplomatic alliance, complete with memorandums of understanding to collaborate in trade, tourism, and culture. How cool is that? And the momentum has only snowballed since then. In 2001, a massive memorial to Queen Heo was built in Ayodhya. Then, fast forward to 2018, the South Korean First Lady personally visited to lay the foundation for a multi-million-dollar expansion of that exact park. The two nations have issued joint postage stamps featuring the Queen, and just recently in 2023, a massive 10-foot bronze statue imported directly from South Korea was unveiled right there in India. Now, every single year, hundreds of South Koreans make the pilgrimage to India to pay their respects to their legendary Queen Mother. This shared history is acting as a massive, real-world diplomatic bridge today. So, we're left with a pretty fascinating question to ponder. Whether Queen Heo Hwang-ok was an Indian princess from Ayodhya, a noblewoman from Tamil Nadu, a native Jomon ruler elevated to myth, or even just a purely religious symbol crafted to bolster Buddhism, does it actually matter? The real magic of this explainer isn't just in trying to solve a 2,000-year-old cold case, it's realizing how a single story, whether it's true, embellished, or somewhere in between, continues to unite millions of people across oceans. It is literally inspiring trade, diplomacy, and genuine cultural affection 2 whole millennia later. So what other myths in our history are quietly shaping our modern world? Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.